Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Jean-Philippe JP Couder. I'm the founder and CEO of the company called VPG Medical. This is actually for our team the second startup. We sold our first startup 1 year and a half ago for 260 million plus, and we wanted to create this second company because we believe we have a great technology that will help people to watch their heart. This technology can apply to various things, but the one we are interested in now as an early channel, I would say, is heart failure patients. So when an individual has heart failure, it means that the heart becomes very weak and cannot pump the enough blood for the organism. This is a chronic disease, and therefore this patient needs to be monitored to really change the therapy for them according to the progress of the disease. Today, in the United States, the disease affects 5 million HF patients. It is an epidemic. It will reach 8 million people by 2030. The cost of the disease is $50 billion, and it's going to be raised to $70 billion by 2023. What is quite amazing is that 80% of this cost is associated with hospitalization and hospital readmission. So the patients that go back to the hospital, actually, one of the things that modulate this action is really that they are not adherent with their drugs. We know today that 45% of the HF patients do not take their medication, or they are not actually prescribed with the right set of doses. So how do we solve this problem? We develop HealthScam. This is a technology based on 6 years of research conducted at both the Rochester Institute of Technology and the University of Rochester in New York State. How do we do that? We use the web camera of smart devices, computers, and laptop. The way it works is that the technology detects the subtle changes in the color of your skin that occur on each cardiac beat. This is a phenomenon that is invisible to a naked eye, but our technology can detect it and can monitor your heart. But what is really unique about that is that it's working in the background. So while you are working on your email, you're watching your favorite series on Netflix, or you're looking at the picture of the grandkids on Facebook, the device detects your face, recognizes who you are, and monitor your heart. So there's a very important point here. We are effortless. We do not create any constraint on the patient. You don't need to stick anything to your body. You don't need to buy an expensive watch. You just use your device as you were doing before. So how do we make money with that, in a sense? As I said, we are enabling effortless monitoring. VPG Medical is not only a technology company, it is a digital health service company. We detect abnormal heart rate trends on multiple days that occur when these people are not adherent to their drug therapy. We send this technology to our cloud analytics, and we generate alerts that are sent to physicians, care managers, and nurses so they can intervene and help the patient to be adherent. So who are our customers? And our early channels are accountable care organizations. They are called ACOs. This organization manages the healthcare resources for the patients, and their goal is to reduce cost while keeping actually the quality of care. Today in the US, there are more than 1,000 ACOs that covers more than 1 million heart failure beneficiaries. We talked to our first one. They love the concept, and they actually purchased from us a paid pilot program for $50,000. And our target is to reduce by 10% the number of hospitalizations in 1 year. That would actually correspond to $450,000 of savings per year. If we want to grab 30% of this, we will charge only $18 per patient per month, and by reaching 10% of the market by 2023, we will have revenues in the order of $25 million. Our team is made of scientists, clinicians, and business people who have taken startup companies outside of the universities and make them into financial successes. Today, we have a funded clinical trial at the level of $1.9 million. We have been awarded by the Rochester-based incubators called Luminate. They invested $100,000 in our company, and we just actually closed our seed round at the beginning of this year for $500,000. We are raising now $1.5 million. I would like to thank you, and I want to say that we all love our grandma and grandpa. And with our technology, we believe that we can have them staying longer at our sites. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And you're 1:40 over. So for the rest of you, everybody, you get a little bit more to be balanced, but not more than 10 seconds. We're being very tight here. Who has questions?
I'll go ahead and start.
Fantastic.
Does this work?
It does.
Okay, wonderful. JP, thank you.
Thank you.
And congratulations on success this far. Clearly, you're trying to address a problem from a different perspective than where potentially rest of the innovation's taking place. If I understand it correctly, you're betting on association, so heart rate to color changes through some secret sauce algorithm or IP that's protected and particular to your success. What percentage and rate of association have you shown thus far? You didn't share any of that metric, which I think would be exciting for us to hear.
Sure, that's a very good point. And I'm going to talk about this pilot program we have, okay? At this point, yes, that's our assumption that based on this detection of changes and trends of heart rate, that we know occurs because they are very well documented in the literature. Yet, we have actually to demonstrate to our customers that we can measure it with our technology. And it's exactly why we have actually designed this pilot study. So this $50,000 in revenues, our first revenue that we got this year is really to conduct this study. We're going to enroll 50 patients. We're going to deploy our technology. It's working already because we have a clinical trial ongoing with the technology. And we will demonstrate that, one, we can actually acquire what we say we can acquire in these people. And two, that these changes in heart rate that we expect to occur because we know 45% of these patients will not take their medication as they are supposed, or they have a physician that didn't prescribe enough medication. I'm talking about these beta blockers. Beta blockers are these drugs that keep the heart rate in a very defined range, I would say. If you don't have the right level of drug, it's outside of that. And this we can detect. We know based on data we have from proof of concept study, but not in the field. So this pilot study that we're doing will generate the data that I think you want to see at this point.
Any other questions? Laura?
Is the goal to catch acute events only, or is it to help with the medication compliance or dosing? Or
It's not for acute events, simply because we all know our heart rate goes up and down. Mine is very up now, as you can imagine. But in a sense, this is more to look at trends over days. Okay. So with this technology, we do a measurement of resting heart rate every 30 seconds. So when you watch a movie or you work on your computers, we do hundreds of measurements during a day. And what we are looking at is rather an average resting heart rate, not a punctual one, an average resting heart rate, and look at the trends over a couple of days. If you forget about taking your medication for a couple of days, you'll see these trends. If you forget one day and you then take it, you won't see too much of a sign, in a sense. So it's more to either detect these patients that do not take enough medication because the dosage is not right, or to detect these patients that actually just forget about their drug and need to be reminded.
Okay, one last question. Okay.
So, great job, thank you. So how closely do you work with the ACOs to basically educate them and ensure that the patients adhere to that technology?
Yes,
JP, let's give short answers so that we can get a couple more questions for you, okay?
Sure. So we're working with one ACO at Strong Memorial Hospital that actually gather a lot of physician offices. That's this first pilot program we have. We just connected to a second ACO in Buffalo, and they want to work with us. What they want to do with our technology is not really align what we want to do. We don't want to somehow do too many projects and have some things that are too different. So we're going to meet with them in a couple of weeks now to rethink how this technology can help the patient in their network.
Quick question. Jeremiah, go ahead. Last one.
You talk about compliance of medication adherence. How do you address compliance of the use of this product?
So in the use of the product, you mean our product, our technology? Yes. So I think we are probably, that's a concept that is very new because today what people think about is wearables, right? You need to actually put on your body a wearable so we can know what's going on. But here we are talking about people that forget about taking drugs that's going to save their life. Are you going to tell them to think about putting a wearables every day and recharge them to know that they are forgetting about the drug? Doesn't make sense. Our technology, you install it once and it works forever. Each time they use their device, we capture the information. They don't even have to think about it. We are compliance free and we believe this is huge value of our technology.
Great, JP. Thank you very much. Round of applause, everybody. We got next up, we got Alon from Echo AR. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Evan. How's it going, everyone? Want to see something mind-blowing? As an engineer at Columbia University, I built an augmented reality application for a physician to see the patient's heart floating above them during surgery. For every surgical case, I had to physically go to the hospital, take 2D scans, convert them to a 3D model, rebuild the application, deploy it to a device for a physician to wear. It took forever. It was so frustrating. And as a developer, all I wanted to do is manage 3D assets and deliver them to an AR device. And when talking to other developers building augmented reality applications for gaming, retail, interior design, and more, they all say the same thing. There's no easy way to manage and deliver 3D assets. But wait, companies have solved this problem for 2D data. Companies like Heroku created the best cloud platform for web, got bought by Salesforce. Parse and Firebase created the best cloud platforms for mobile, got bought by Google and Facebook. So who will solve the same problem for immersive 3D content in AR? Hi, I'm Alon, CEO of Echo AR, and we're building the best cloud platform for augmented reality. For developers, companies building augmented reality applications, we provide tools and network infrastructure so they can quickly build and deploy AR apps and content in real time. Think about it. You don't need to be a web developer to update a blog post. You can just drag and drop an image, video, suddenly it appears on web and mobile. And I'm in New York, you're in California, we're both watching an episode on Netflix, we both get automatically the best streaming experience. We're translating these concepts into augmented reality, providing you a way to manage and deliver 3D assets and get the best 3D streaming experience. Here's how it works. Developers can choose to develop their app on any client-side technology. If it's Android, iOS, Magically, Pollens, web, and more. Content creators drag and drop 3D content to our web app with no technical skills, as easy as updating a blog post. We build, store, and deliver that content on our cloud to headsets, web browsers, mobile devices, and more. We take the assets to the edge of the network, so your users get the freshest content and fastest download, and we provide our customers with analytics and tools so they can better monitor user engagement and improve their 3D data in AR. Developers using our platform were able to build once and scale across all platforms, save 10%, basically reducing their app size by 10 times over, save money and time building their app backend. And basically, our customers pay us on a simple subscription fee. The more bandwidth and storage you use, the more you pay, and our platform allocates more bandwidth and storage than a foldable rate. At Echo AR, we're actually obsessed with making developers' lives easier. So that's why we focus our go-to-market strategy on building a large community of developers. We are there for conferences, meetups, hackathons, and have collaborations with research labs doing research in AR. Since launching Echo AR into the world, we already have over 80 developers building augmented reality applications that serve hundreds of users for healthcare, indoor navigation, construction, art, and more. We have grown our user registration by 10% week over week on word of mouth alone with no marketing effort. And as all big industry leaders agree, the AR market is ready. With millions of users rallying behind this technology and big companies spending billions in building headsets and applications, we're building the cloud to connect them all. We are a team of experts in augmented reality and cloud, graduating from Columbia University and Columbia Law School. We're backed by Techstars and received grants from Y Combinator and NYC Media Lab. We are the right team to make augmented reality scale. So do you want to join the effort of building the best backend to the most front-end industry of all time? Reach out, talk to us. We're just raising our round right now. We'd love to tell you more of how developers are building mind-blowing applications with Echo AR.
All right, well done. Perfect timing, too. Look at that.
Nice.
Well done. Get
All about the
extra
timing.
points.
All about the timing.
Go ahead. Rachel.
Hi there. Nice job. I have a question. How many paying customers do you have? And can you go over the pricing again? And who's your competition?
Sure. So for the paying customers, we have basically two personas. One is the enterprise client. So for them, we bill $5,000 per like a client-side application that hooks up to our cloud. And for the other customers, yeah, for like just a small initial integration, and then they pay on a monthly basis for bandwidth and storage. And on the other side, there's the developers that you can today go to our website, register for an API key for free, and then just pay for bandwidth and storage. The more you use, the more you pay, basically. There's the smallest tier starts at $19 a month, and then it just grows based on the bandwidth and storage that you're using. Next question was about competition. So there are some AR companies basically out there that are creating AR CMSs, like a content management system. But for them, the networking is just a cherry on top. So you have to use their smart camera SDK, like use their smart camera. And if you do that, then you get a backend. But with our technology, you can basically use any smart camera, even our competitors, and then get that backend. So we're really focusing on the networking, allowing us to focus on specific features like compression, analytics, that our competitors just don't have, not on their roadmap, and not, like, again, just not in that scalability.
Who's next? Who's the next question? Anybody? Great.
Can you
Lucy.
talk a little about the top applications that these developers have built and what the adoptions of those look like and what the use cases are?
So we saw a lot doing healthcare. We saw a lot doing advertising. So a lot of ad agencies want to add AR to their current offering. If it's for image targets, that you put your phone in front of an image and suddenly it comes to life, like a Harry Potter newspaper kind of thing, or putting your phone, then you see like something on the floor. That's for surface detection. Your question is really interesting because it's like asking 10 years ago, like, what do you need a website for? And today it's obvious. Like, you can have a marketplace, a social network, it could be a personal blog, whatever. And when people ask about like augmented reality experience and they ask, what is the best use case? I think we're just limited by our imagination. There's amazing companies building all these things that are trying to put AR, very similar as website, to their industry. And we are really trying to be very use case agnostic in that regard.
Just to follow up, I'm asking that question because typically when we see developer tools like this, you're going after Heroku, but the more sophisticated market tends to build their own stack. So how do you think about how AR is going to evolve and what that customer segment you are targeting for AR?
Yeah, so specifically in AR, and what differentiates that from like just the 2D text like web and mobile is that because you have all these smart cameras and all these technologies, each of them, and because the market is nascent, you have all these different specifications, all the different file formats that you have to support. So once we do that under the hood, that actually reduces the point for companies to build their own stack. A lot of startups that actually are like really focused on creating some front-end experience don't have that skill set of building a back-end. That's why like Heroku was super successful because like you can build a website, you can build the front end, but what do you know about like hooking up a server? So it's even more prevalent in AR, and like the people in like AR developer community, that's even more prevalent. So that's why we feel super confident that we can like almost monopolize in that field of like building the back end for AR.
Great. Any last question? Sujatha?
What are you trying to raise?
We're raising 550, already have 200 committed. Basically it.
All right, round of applause. Thank you very much. Well done. You can bring that to the next. Next up, we've got Atma of Nudist. Come on up here.
Hi, my name is Atima Louie. I'm founder and CEO of Nudist, where we're building color matching computer vision for e-commerce, starting in the beauty industry, because beauty is booming. The market in the US last year was $90 billion, and this year will be $93 billion. And this growth is coming from increases in online sales, which grew 24% last year alone and are showing no signs of stopping, and also from inclusivity. The number of shades of makeup for skin tone increased 22% last year, outpacing new product development in the face category by 7 times. times. So now you have an increase of an issue that the online beauty shopper has always had, which is how to shade match when shopping online. These are the options that they currently have, which is to stop shopping online, go into a store, have your skin matched by a Pantone scanning device, which is not connected to the internet, not cloud enabled whatsoever, or you can keep shopping online and you buy multiple shades, try them on at home, return what doesn't work. For hygienic reasons, those products cannot be resold, and 41% of shoppers are doing this. So our solution to this problem is Nude Meter, color matching computer vision for e-commerce that makes it easy for makeup brands and retailers to match the products that they sell online to their customers' skin tone. Our technology is a web-based API, which means we're able to implement it into the websites and apps of brands where their customers are already shopping. We also have eliminated that app download barrier to adoption. Our technology is accessible from any internet-enabled device. We also have a SaaS-based business model based on API calls, which allows us to scale rapidly, like a Clarify. We've booked $48,000 in revenue this year from a publicly traded beauty company and an independently owned beauty company. We received $40,000 in prize money from Coty last year, which is the parent company of CoverGirl. And we also have a strong sales pipeline of other major brands who are asking for our technology right now. So how does it work? The customer submits a quiz about their skin and their tanning preferences, a selfie. Artificial intelligence balances the lighting in that selfie. Computer vision detects and extracts the face, matches the customer to products for them, and they're able to shop right then and there. No need to order extra items, no need to go into the store. And we filed a patent for this technology last year. Here's an example of our light balancing artificial intelligence in action. An oversaturated image goes into the technology, but it is analyzed as if it was taken in bright white lighting. We also own the data that we produce on the customer, which is really important because it allows us to consult with the brands who use us, helping them to guide their product innovation, so an additional revenue stream for us. It also allows the brands to hyper-target their customers by skin tone and not by race, which actually does not correlate with their skin tone like you might think. And it also empowers us to create Nude Meter user accounts. So that way, with any participating brand or retailer, a user can just log in, see their matches, no need to submit a selfie again. And that also creates a competitive moat of network effects for both brands and users. And speaking of competition, we're the only beauty tech solution that has this platform agnostic web API approach, a machine learning color match approach, meaning that our technology gets better and better as it scales. We power seasonal recommendations, so what matches the user now, but also in other times of year. And then of course, this user account network effect go-to-market strategy. Here's our team. We're located in New York, the beauty capital of the US. We have deep experience in startups. There are developers on our team who've built beauty tech companies in the past, and we're currently raising $2 million to continue to grow our business. We've achieved this on just $200,000. Really excited about that, and you can contact me here. Happy to take questions.
All right, good job. Questions, judges, who's first?
Congratulations, that was a very succinct pitch. Did you even breathe?
That 4 minutes is hard.
You're a B2B play, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. How are you planning to handle, I can see a benefit, but also a potential hurdle in terms of exclusivity. So if I'm Sephora, I want to own you. I want to, totally occupy the consumption and elevate my brand and LTV with my customers. Mm-hmm. So what are your thoughts on how you're going to address exclusivity with your B2B large platforms?
Yeah, so our plan is definitely to not be exclusive and to resist that. And the reason we're able to do that is because color matching in digital imagery is a very specialized skill. So no beauty tech solution out there is doing this well, and this is where we focus the past 3 years of our research. So our intent is to use the power of us having the data on that customer and also our technology capabilities and superiority to continue to remain independent.
Gillian.
So I think I understand how this works in the beauty business. As you think about building a company, a larger company, how are you thinking about scaling this up? Would it just be in beauty, or are you thinking of applying your technology to other areas as well?
Yeah, so the patent that we filed is a color matching patent. It is not specific to the beauty industry, which was very much intentional, to your point, because we actually see two growth strategies that could work. We're still at our early stages. So we could continue to go deeper in beauty, right? So we have the SaaS-based business based on API calls, which essentially is empowering us to give brands the power to not rely so much on the brick and mortar retail, right? We're creating this beauty counter that's digital. And then the other piece is that we're actually building out augmented reality solutions as well so that consumers can try on their matches. So that allows us to build out the beauty business and actually go after an opportunity that looks like all of beauty retail, which is exciting for us. But if we want to, we can also apply our color matching technology to other industries. So that looks like taking the Pantone of today, which is all based on printing, but actually going after other industries. So that includes fashion. So we actually did 2 pilots with the fashion industry. We decided to start in beauty because that's the customers that are asking for us right now. But you can imagine taking a picture of a red shoe, match it to the red dress for you, right? You can also start matching paint colors. So take a picture of your wall and then match to the right color paint. The face is the hardest piece. So we're starting at the hardest area, which is exciting because that means our technology can then apply to other industries.
Rachel, go ahead, and we'll get Jeremiah next.
Can you just go over pricing one more time? Team look like, how many are full-time right now? And then who becomes full-time after the raise? How much have you raised to date, and how much are you raising?
Sure. Okay, so team. So, okay, we've raised $200,000. I'm the only person who is full-time currently. Upon raising, we will have 6 people full-time. And your other questions were? Pricing. Yeah, okay. So around pricing. So we charge an implementation fee, and that is what we've received for revenue so far. But then we're going to charge 50 cents per API call, which means every single time someone uses the technology. For an example of how that scales, one brand in this publicly traded company with whom we're working with currently receives 2 million hits every year. So you can imagine how this scales across the industry very, very quickly and allows us to become the technology, beauty-based, cloud-based solution to bringing products to the market to consumers that they don't have to go in store anymore.
Does the brand have to upload their lookbook, and how does the match happen with them, and how long does that take?
Yeah, so we actually implement the technology on their site, right? So we have a web API that they're able to skin and make look like their brand. It says nude meter, and then the consumer is able to use the technology from there. The way that we actually scale across the portfolio of this company is we just need the LAB values of their products. And if they don't have the LAB, we have a partnership with York University in Toronto in their computer vision lab. So we've actually sent products to their lab for them to figure out the color. So that's the way we're able to do it now, but that actually can scale even more quickly as we grow across the industry, because if we know that one brand's shades is really just the same as another one in some ways, they just gave it a new name, you can also just add it to the algorithm that way as well.
Do you have one last one, Jeremiah?
Yeah, do you have any data metrics on how your technology has improved your clients' conversion and or loyalty?
Yeah, so we haven't been in market with any beauty brands yet. All of our pilots started in the fashion space. But what we were able to show is that of all the users, 3,000 who used it in our pilot, that 85% gave it a 1 out of a 5 rating for how successful they were, how satisfied they were with the match of the product that we gave them. So we do have customer satisfaction data at this time.
Cool. Well done. Round of applause, folks. Thank you very much. Next up, Lucian, Zitio Medico.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lucian Mihailescu. I'm the CEO of Zitio Medical. People have been dreaming for a while to find the the cure for cancer. I wish we had that. We don't. But we do have the next best thing to curing cancer, which is a technology that enables early detection and precise treatment of cancer. And you see, early diagnosis is the main important factor that determines cancer survival. Well, okay, I had a movie there. So, can I go back? Okay, you are supposed to see a movie here where cancer spreads and it expands into the lymph nodes and other organs, and you would see that bar with the survival rates go down. It's very important to get cancer early. And that's the same trend you see with all cancers, breast, colorectal, melanoma, and so forth. It's very important to catch it early when you can treat it successfully. Now, as the stage of the disease advances, not only that the survival rates go down, but also the treatment expenses go up. Annually, we spend more than $150 billion on treating cancer. So what do we use for diagnosis? Medical imaging is very often used, such as X-ray imaging. The problem with this kind of imaging is that you get information about the anatomy, not necessarily direct information about presence of tumors. Here, in fact, you are looking at rather normal looking dense breast, but a tumor is hiding in there. And it's only molecular imaging, such as delivered by PET, that brings that out in the open. So why people don't use more molecular imaging such as PET? A lot of people don't even know about the existence of PET or PET-CT. And the main reason is really availability. These are very expensive machines, $2–3 million each. They require a lot of infrastructure, dedicated room personnel, and so forth. A single dose of a molecular agent is at least $2,000. And there is a significant dose associated with the CAT scan itself, as well as with the agent, with the molecular agent. So that brings us to our solution. So we have a portable molecular imaging device co-registered with ultrasound that enables detection of tumors that are 10 times more than currently possible with PET imaging for a third of the price. And the agents we are using for that kind of molecular imaging is 10 times cheaper than currently available PET agents. There is no dose associated with the CAT scan, and it's portable, so it can be brought into the interventional radiology suite and the operating room to guide biopsies and to guide treatments with the same device. So competition, on the diagnostic imaging, we have the big three, GE, Siemens, Phillips, about a third of the market each. On the biopsy guidance, J&J, Bard, Leica. On the treatment guidance, Medtronic, Brainlab, among others. So we estimate $17 billion addressable market size between the diagnostic imaging, diagnostic verification, and treatment guidance. One of the first prototypes we developed is a single pixel prototype. We demonstrated the imaging technology with this device. The latest prototype is a 1,000 pixel device, and this has been demonstrated in humans. And the next device is a whole body scanner, is going to have 144,000 pixels. As you see, all of these instruments have computer vision cameras, and those are, in fact, the key components that enable this kind of imaging technology. So we have a team of PhDs with experience, with significant experience working together, partnered with clinicians and medical device executives. So we are raising $4 million to develop the next portable molecular imaging device within 11 months, to clinically validate the prototype and demonstrate robotic scanning with that. We expect to launch the product within 3 years and sell to hospitals and clinics. And that brings me to the end. Thank you.
Well done. You can step up front there, and the judges will start asking questions. Sujatha.
So I'm a little confused. Are you targeting any specific type of cancer first, or are you just a general?
Solid tumors.
So, and I mean, even with that, because you were showing breast imaging, solid tumors are only 40% of breast cancer. So they'd still have to go for other forms of detection. Is that, or are you?
Breast cancer, all breast cancers are solid tumors, as far as I know. DCIS and.
Okay, I'd say 40% are microcalc and 20% are indirect. But the question I was asking is, are you going to go, and from a go-to-market perspective, and go after all cancer and go into a facility that way, or are you going to target a particular cancer? Because people don't typically go for like a whole body image.
Yeah, so we have a strategy to go to market. The first indication is indeed the breast cancer and melanoma to map the lymphatic system. And because our device can be used in the interventional radiology suite and is co-registered with ultrasound, we enable percutaneous biopsy of the lymph nodes that drain lymph from the area where the tumor is. And that replaces excisional biopsies, which brings a huge benefit to the patients because I would have to go a little bit more into the clinical details of how breast cancer surgery happens. At the time of the excision of the main tumor, surgeons would have to also stage the status of the sentinel lymph nodes. If the tumor has spread, if cancerous cells spread into the lymphatic system. And what they do, they perform another surgery to excise those lymph nodes. And in 70% of cases, those lymph nodes are negative. So basically, you didn't need that surgery. Now, if you have a system that enables millimeter resolution, molecular imaging resolution, and you co-register that with ultrasound, you can guide the needle to have percutaneous biopsies of those lymph nodes. So you save an incision there, and you save millions of lymph nodes from excision. So this is an application uniquely enabled by our technology.
Thank you. Clearly, our entire healthcare process and systems and approvals and what the different steps are to go through it could require an improvement. So thank you for innovating in that space. Can you talk a little bit about how you're envisioning to go through FDA approval as a device, which is a whole different ballgame than therapeutic FDA approval processes?
Yeah, in fact, for the first indication, and if we are talking about just diagnostic and for the clearance strategy, we plan to first get approval for diagnosis, imaging diagnosis. And for that, the path is in fact much more straightforward than for therapeutics, where you need a large clinical trial and so on. Because we have an imaging device, the clinical trials are quite straightforward. You go in the facility, you piggyback on existing processes, and you compare the performance of your instrument with gold standards, SPECT-CT, PET-CT, MRI, and so forth. So the expenses for that are minimal. Now, this is a 510K class 2 device, and you have predicates, like existing spec machines that you can claim. We are not all that concerned about that. Once you get into the biopsy guidance and so on, we do plan to get clearance for that indication in a second step, and obviously for that we'll have to have a clinical trial that shows clinical performance for the new process, because it does replaces another kind of protocol.
Okay, one last question, if anybody has one. We're all set? Thank you very much. Well done. We're halfway through. We got 4 more. Roy, Cool R Group. Take it away.
Hi, guys. Hi, my name is Roy Mehta. I'm the CEO of Cooler Group. We automate labor and inventory management. So think about the last time that you guys went out for lunch to get a drink at a convenience store or a pizza shop. Odds are, whether you wanted water or soda or juice, you walked up to a cooler, you opened the door, you grabbed your soda, and you paid $2 to $3. This event happens 6,000 times per second around the world. This event also represents a 65% margin for bottlers like Coke, Pepsi, and Red Bull. There are 70 million of these coolers around the world, but what most people don't know is those coolers are actually owned by a lot of these brands themselves. One of our initial clients, Pepsi, actually owns 4 million coolers by themselves all around the world. And though they own these coolers, they have no idea what the stock is. They have no idea when the right time is to send somebody, and they really don't even know if the right products are in the right cooler. So this is our solution. It's a wireless peel and stick camera that installs in about 40 seconds. We call it the Vista, and we combine this with an automated image processing platform that we've created in-house. But don't let that fool you. We are first and foremost an AI-driven and software company. We have 165,000 pictures of inside coolers, and we've used that to create an industry-leading automated platform solution in retail. So what does that mean for our customers? What that means is less wasted stock visits and audit visits, better understanding of out of stocks in general, and making sure that they don't lose any revenue by competitors coming in and sliding into their coolers. That means for them on a per cooler basis per year, they're going to be able to increase their revenue and decrease costs by a total of $500 per year. That Pepsi client of ours that has 4 million coolers, that's $2 billion in net positive per year. So we released this product in January 2019. The traction has been fantastic. We had a rollout in February for 250 of these Vistas. That client signed a 3-year contract, and they're paying $950 per month per Vista. We start new trials every approximately 2 weeks. There's a backlog of customers that want to start working with us for paid trials, including AT&T, Red Bull, Danone, etc. Our team is an awesome group of problem solvers. I have 15 years of experience in leading roles in hedge funds and PE shops, and I have my master's in stats in Columbia. DJ, our CTO, is a scaling genius and actually won an award in 1990 as the youngest commercial Indian programmer. We have 7 full-time staff in development, in QA, and customer success. And our team is rounded out by Anthony Pesolano, who spent 26 years at Pepsi and is the current CEO of Welch's Soda North America. Lastly, I want to announce we're getting closer to a larger vision that we have. One of the largest retailers in the U.S. that made over $70 billion in revenue last year will be receiving shelf vistas from us this week. We're going to be using our out-of-stock detection platform to help them deal with the third leg of out-of-stocks. Thank you guys so much for your time.
Well done. Okay, judges, Gillian.
What do you think you're competing with for the most part? I mean, there's a lot of solutions in retail. Give us a little bit more color about what you think your actual competition is at this point.
Sure. So first, the one thing I want to point out is that this is a retrofit product, so it's really easy to install. You don't need an engineer or anything like that. The people that we are competing with right now is video analytics mostly that are looking at this space. Those are the guys you can talk about serverless, you can talk about within the store, but all those things are really, really, really expensive. They work really well, but it takes a lot of effort to get them online. And past that, it takes a lot of effort to actually keep them going and getting the most out of them. Our products are really, really easy. We send out alerts based on out-of-stock thresholds, planogram compliance thresholds. We can recognize a foreign product, meaning we can tell you if there's a Coke in that Pepsi cooler or some chicken, and it's really, really easy for people to really understand what's going on and make decisions based off that.
I hope there's no chicken in the Coke cooler.
Go ahead.
Thanks. Can you walk through your implementation process a bit more?
Sure. So there is if you could actually look at this product, yeah. Sorry. So basically, there's a couple things that we do. We first of all, we get to understand what SKUs are in these products. We take those SKUs. We need at least 3 high-quality pictures of each of these SKUs. We take them. It takes approximately about a week to 2 weeks for 7 to 10 SKUs, so we can kind of get a trial up and going relatively quickly. Once we do that, we do pre-planning. So we go and we actually say, okay, here's the stores, here's the doors that we're going to put it on. The actual easiest thing is is the installation itself. You stick it on and you basically walk away. We have a 3G hub that connects to each of these devices, and then that data gets sent to the cloud. So everything is basically done remotely. So when I say you just stick that on the door, you just stick that on the door and walk away, because we remotely getting everything up and going. Then the last part is the planogram process, right? What should be there versus what's not there. So there are a couple of ways we deal with that. The easiest and coolest way, I think, is just saying like, hey, we know our planogram works because the guy just put the device there. So that first picture we take, that's the planogram. It's easy, no one has to do anything about it, and we just start from there. The other thing that we can do is we can just get a picture from somebody, or we just get a simple Excel sheet that says aisle 1, column 1, et cetera, et cetera.
Anybody else? Questions, Laura?
I'm wondering for products that are sensitive to staying cold, say yogurt or something like that, are you able to feed back to the brands whether their products are being stored properly or whether they were compromised and they should get pulled, things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I didn't mention here, but I'm very, very proud of, is that sensor is a temperature sensor, humidity sensor, and light sensor. So we put that on when it sticks on the door. We have an understanding, and the other thing that we've done over the last couple of years, which I think is relatively unique in the industry, is we have an understanding that doors open and close, and the temperature is going to go up and down based on that. So we have an algorithm that takes into account the number of door opens and the fluctuation of the temperature to understand what the exposure was for that product in there. And then the alerts that we talked about, we do temperature alerts, we do humidity alerts, we do light alerts, like a light bulb going off or something like that. So people usually ask, can this be used in pharma coolers and stuff like that? The answer is yes, but we're focusing in this vertical right now.
Cool. Any last question? Go ahead. Sure, Rachel.
Team, who would be your next hire? And is there a video camera in that sensor, and what's the bill of materials on the sensor?
Sure. So last question first. Bill of materials at scale, $25. Right now it's about 35. The first person that we need help with customer success, because we need people onboarding. We have a huge pipeline of people interested in this technology right now. So we need people that are going to help the people that we're working with at all these brands really develop a successful plan to how they're going to implement this data, because there is pre-planning to it with the planograms and knowing the outlets and all those things, and that takes extra time, and a lot of times customers just want to go, and that's just setting us up for a disaster. So that pre-planning, working with those customers, and then the last part of what you were saying, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. So there's a gyroscope and accelerometer in that device. So it actually is based on door opens. As the door opens, and this only works for door open, not sliding doors, we know the angle of the door and we know the speed of the door, so we're able to take the best picture with those two things in mind. So it's just basically, it's 2 cameras, one looking up, one looking down.
It's more like a still camera.
Exactly. It's kind of, I call it like the GoPro of coolers.
On that note, thank you very much. Well done. Thank you. You can take that. Okay, next we've got Xavier Data Caleb. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. Caleb?
Data Caleb.
You said it much better than I did.
Hi everyone. So my name is Xavier Fischer and I'm the CEO of Data Caleb. Data Caleb is a brain tech startup that uses AI to quantify user emotion and human reaction to any kind of stuff. Basically, $300 billion is the amount that will be spent this year in dollar on content marketing, and $2.14 billion is the number of people that will buy online in 2021. It will be even more in 10 years, and today, performance of all those contents are only measured rationally. A number of clicks, a number of visits, revenue dollar, time spent on page, declarative studies. Human being is much more complicated than that, and when we interact, for instance, today, 90% of what we feel, what we will remember, what we will buy, is only driven by our limbic brain, our emotions. Actually, let me ask you a simple question. You have been hearing conferences all day long. What did you felt at 10 a.m. and 2 minutes this morning? You don't know. Human being cannot store his own emotions. This is exactly why we built our company. Our goal is to transform everything that's happening on our face into data. So in this short video, you can see that we can detect a lot of stuff on the face, from eye blink, attention, emotion, a lot of stuff, and we rebuilt everything from scratch. Basically, there are plenty of API out there that are available, but the problem is that it's prototypical. It's done on lab conditions, and we wanted to be robust to occlusion, lighting condition, head pose and wide angles, those kind of stuff. As of today, our algorithms are more accurate than Facebook and SenseTime. We then built a platform. Our idea is that when we have such algorithms, we want to collect huge amount of videos. So we built a SaaS platform that helps us to take control of any kind of cameras. We have already recorded more than 200,000 people looking at different kind of contents, from website to different advertisements, and 10,000 people even last week. We are using HTML5 as we don't want to integrate any kind of cameras. We have plenty cameras out there. Those are our customers, our paying customers. But let me give you 2 examples. Eric Bompard, a brand in France, has reduced by 1/3 their media buying because they understood that creating attention and emotion was creating more performance. They had a 30 and a 45-second ad, and they then decided to launch all the time 30-second ads. Eram, a shoe retailer, e-commerce website in France, has found that some products do not create ROI, but they create emotions. And when product create emotion, it creates cross-selling. The product that create emotions are the magic moment of the customer journey, and today it's not possible to identify it without emotions. The market we're working on is starting. It will grow by 29 till 2025, and to my opinion, it will be even higher. Emotions are what make us. Basically, emotions are everywhere, from healthcare to education, passing by security. Emotions are human. We are a 14-people team. Basically, my brother and I are engineers. Lucas graduated from Berkeley. I graduated from Centrale Supélec in France and was a product manager at Emotion, a company that got acquired by Apple in 2016. Kevin and Arnaud are our lead research. They won for 3 times in a row the FERA competition. For those of you who don't know, FERA stands for Facial Emotion Recognition and Analysis. And they won it against MIT, so Affectiva, Cambridge, so Realize, our 2 competitors. And this is why we have a strong R&D team. We are partnered with Berkeley Skydeck that hosts us. We are in IBM Scale Zone that provides us GPU. Gartner has selected us as a cool vendor for customer analytics. And in terms of financial, we have already secured and made more than $1 million since the launch of the company, $250K of annual recurring revenue for this year. And as the French government wants to develop AI in France, we have a lot of tax kind of refund, etc., which helps us to be profitable without having raised any funds. Thank you very much for your time. My name is Xavier Fischer. I'm the CEO of Data Lab. And if you have to remember one thing, we are an emotion AI company with one of the greatest R&D team in the world. Thanks.
All right. Judges, who hasn't spoken yet, Mike?
Sure. I guess my first question would be, as you're thinking through the customer side, like you said, you had $1 million total in revenue since 2017, $250K in 2019. What's been the barrier for you to kind of accelerate growth, or what's been the thing that has held you from kind of increasing the slope on your revenue?
Understanding how we want to scale. We started with consulting. Basically, I was a product manager at Emotion beforehand. We were a company that raised a ton of funds but did not make any revenue. So we took a step back at Data Lab and wanted to understand what customer wanted. So we started to work with all kind of brands. And then we decided to be distributed by market research companies because we didn't want to do all the consulting job that is linked to time. Basically, we want to scale. So basically, we started by doing the consulting job to understand what were the pain points of brands, etc. We understood that emotion are great, but you need to create performance. So of course, we don't go only with emotions. We have created metrics that improve the content and improve performance in number of likability, shareability. And now we scale with distributors.
Xavier, clarifying question. You had dozens of logos up there. You said those were all customers?
Yeah.
And they're all e-commerce customers?
No, they are either content, either e-commerce. Basically, content is people look at content, advertisements, they're recorded, and then we will tell to the brand, your content is working, not working in terms of attention, emotion.
And this is via focus group? This is not a controlled environment or
no, from your own, basically.
In the field?
Yeah, we don't want to do any kind of focus group.
So it's opt-in by the consumer?
Exactly.
And the consumer's deal to opt in, why?
Sorry?
Why is the consumer opting in?
because we tell them that they are going to help us to improve the website, and we developed everything in Europe. You know that we have our GDPR, so basically we struggle to death to make it like user-friendly, and our platform has been created to improve the performance and the acceptance level. So basically we tell to customers, you're going to be recorded during your experiment. Are you okay? No. 20% of people say yes in Europe.
With no incentive?
Yeah, they're paid.
They're paid?
Yeah.
Ah, there we go. Hadn't heard that. Okay.
Thank you. Two questions. Eyes are the windows to your soul. So with facial recognition, are you looking at pupil dilation? Like I didn't hear that, which may not be part of your algorithmic approach.
Do we look at the eyes? Sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah. Basically, the idea is that as soon as we collect a massive amount of data, we use those flux to like create databases. So, for instance, each time someone is going to look at an ad, it will look beforehand at a video where you can see a dot moving all around. So we have 200,000 videos of people looking at those kind of stuff, which helps us to have like the strongest eye tracking software technology.
Yeah. I guess I'm talking about something slightly different, but beyond tracking is to look at dilation, to really understand the link to emotionality, because if your pupils dilate 80%, you've got a positive emotionality. If they dilate less than 20%, it's a negative emotionality link. So just wanted to understand that, but thank you for it. And then second part of the question is, given that the ad spans have gone are the days of 60 seconds, we're at 30 seconds, 15 seconds, 10 and 5 seconds now, how much longer do you need? Like how many seconds do you need to catch onto the facial recognition component to really have an optimal feedback?
Basically, we have collected like norms, so we know what is the attention level. Basically, it goes down with the length of the content, of course. So we can compare and benchmark. We have like hundreds of contents from 6 seconds, so this is the minimum.
6 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
And to come back to the question of eye tracking, the two R&D projects that we have for this year are eyes and heartbeat, as it was said before. We want to understand human better. And people are looking out at facial expression. Our goal is to find performance with people's faces. So for instance, a trick that we found is that when people are happy or like a product, they're going to do like that. And we detect that very easily. So basically, the goal is to come from performance to create the right metrics.
Fast.
What are you raising and what are you using the money for?
We didn't raise at all, and we do not plan to do so in the next 6 months.
There you go. All right. Thank you very much. Good round of applause. We're next up. We got two more. Zena from Shapes.ai.
Hi, everyone. This is General Tito, head of police in Indonesia. He has a tough job. Amongst his responsibilities he is in charge of Jakarta, over 10 million people. He has to deal with traffic management, public safety, and law enforcement. His traffic, a typical day in Jakarta, it's not easy. And something quite serious is terrorism and the threat of terrorism and people acting suspiciously on the streets. So he's invested heavily in monitoring devices for public safety, of course, and these include drones and street cameras of this sort. And therefore, with that comes huge amounts of data banks and TVs and screens and a hiring of a huge crowd of people to sit there and look at all this visual data that's being generated. This is going to be a $77 billion market by 2023 across the world. But it has some issues. It's non-smart computer vision. There's a massive amount of data overload. Huge amounts of human analysis is still required. Fine, it's recognizing, it's counting, but so what? What is the higher order inference I can make from this? So it's costly, it's inefficient, there's human error, and General Tito is not happy. So, my name is Sina. I am CEO and founder of Shapes AI, and we are changing all of this. We are bringing to computer vision that missing layer that's been talked about repeatedly over the last 2 days. So capturing, we've done for years and we do very well. Recognition, we're all on top of that now. But what's missing is the inference layer, the intelligence layer of computer vision, understanding information from computer vision. That's what we bring. This is our algorithm in action. What you're seeing here is not just I can identify cars and people and trucks, but I can identify moments and events that are potentially dangerous. Traffic accidents in low light, for example, using a variety of sensors, very sensor agnostic. Here it is again, not just identifying the buses and the cars, but moments where there might be an upcoming accident. In issues of public safety, commotion, violence, shootings, whatever it is that you're interested in as an event, it will flag it, it will highlight it. So our revolutionary technology, if I can use that word in a very qualified way, is deep visual reasoning. That's what we bring to the game. So we combine reinforcement learning with attribute graphs in a very novel way that's being published on at the moment. It's sensor agnostic, it's versatile, it's on edge, it's on the cloud, it can be on their servers. And we're investigating a license-based model, potentially pay-per-play in the future, and multi-sector solutions. So at the moment it's smart cities that we're looking at, but we've had a huge amount of pull from other industries. Retail, understanding intentions in retail stores, sporting and sporting strategy, industrial inspection, explosions and sort of fires are things that we've already tested on. Autonomous driving, warehousing, social media, identifying those violent films that you don't want streamed live. And here it is being demonstrated on an autonomous vehicle. We're not going beyond just identifying that there are things you mustn't hit. It's much more intelligent than that. Look, you might be able to park in that spot over there. There might be a traffic accident coming up over there. Things that are very, very interesting in that sense. And that's why we've had a crowd of engaged high-level companies in various sectors who are trying to explore the opportunities of this inference technology with us. So this is our team. It's, as everyone says, it's world-class, but we genuinely believe we are. We have some of the thought leaders in the space, senior professors from Stanford and Princeton, teams from Microsoft, Cambridge, as we like to say, 14 people, 13 nations, 10 PhDs, 1 mission. That's us. So my name is Sina. Please join us on the deep visual learning revolution. Thank you.
All right. Good job. Questions? Who's going to kick it off? I knew you were going to do that one, Mike. I could have bet on that.
So a lot of the stuff you're showing is like, so you mentioned RL, you went pretty quickly, but then some of the things you're showing were like things related to like bounding box overlaps and path plan, maybe like path projection, path planning things. Are there examples that you can talk through that aren't related to that idea of like congestion within bounding boxes?
The bounding box was just as an example. So it's running, yeah. So we're not actually, that's the recognition layer, we sit above that. The honest answer, so I don't sound as if I don't know what I'm talking about, is we have examples of that, but I'd have to pass that on to you through our technical head of technology. So we do have that, and I have all the papers behind how we do that without the bounding. But the bounding box is mostly just to demonstrate, look, this is how it's classically done, but we're going beyond that, is the point we're trying to make.
Anybody else? Question? Sure, Rachel.
What does the output look like, and who is it that's using it, and how do they derive intelligence from it?
So the output really depends on what the client is looking for. So in the instance of the sort of crowd, public safety and law enforcement and so on, they've had various requirements like, we'd like to understand where there's commotion, or we'd like to understand where there's actual act of violence. So at the moment it's API-based, so we'll output they can use it in whatever way they want. We flag it, and so we don't have a sort of SaaS platform or a UI as such for this yet.
Can you use the mic, Rachel? Just use the mic.
It uses hotspots on the monitoring, and then it flags, and the person who gets the API is supposed to understand how to use it.
Yes, or we can integrate it with their UI, so they can sort of, as we've done here, so they can see where those are, but it really depends on the client's requirements at the moment.
And do they define what they're looking for,
Yes.
or do you tell them what they should be looking for?
But this is, to some extent, it's also self-aware in the sense that it's identifying anomalies that aren't previously available, so it can also identify new opportunities and new events.
Does General Tito know you're talking about him?
Yes, he's one of our potential clients.
Anybody else? One last question, Laura?
This reminds me a little bit of a startup in the Bay Area called Nightscope with the robots. It's for safety and beyond just reacting, they got into predictive kind of place with their data. Is that something that you could do?
We're intentionally not getting into that right now for Minority Report issues, but genuinely right now we're not. We're just trying to identify probabilities of events. And not being predictive in that sense. So you can draw your own inferences from that bit of it, but we'll tell you that this looks like it's about to become heated.
Okay, thank you very much. Round of applause. We got one more. Eric from Growflux. Come on up here. Grab the mic. Grab the slicker. Take it away.
Hi, my name is Eric Isley. I am the CEO of Growflux. We are a technology platform for controlled environment agriculture, which encompasses greenhouses, indoor farms, and legal cannabis cultivation. Lighting is among the highest operating costs in this field, with approximately 2% of all energy in the US being used for horticultural lighting systems. So we have to get a lot smarter about how we reduce these loads if we are to adapt to global climate change and feed 10 billion people by 2050. This is a rapidly growing market with a 20% compound annual growth rate and approximately $3 billion near-term opportunity in North America. So we're solving the biggest problems that prevent our customers from scaling. Real-time data on the crop is most often not available to control systems. Instead, it's locked up in Excel files, and journals are not gathered at all. Equipment manufacturers in this space struggle with connectivity. As I mentioned, energy. The US electrical grid cannot scale given current growth rates, and availability of skilled labor is one of the biggest barriers to scaling these businesses. So we've launched the industry's first API-driven horticultural lighting platform. This platform is designed to deliver the right light to the crop at the right times. And we've actually built our own hardware and stack in order to push boundaries in this industry. And the results are outstanding. Our customers are growing the crop 15% faster and are typically seeing a 15 to 20% increase in yield compared to conventional LED lighting. We're closing a $1.3 million order for our system, and we have a $10 million sales pipeline of customers testing our solution. But this is just our wedge. Lighting and lighting controls is our foundation. Next up, we are launching wireless controls that work with any light on the market, as well as existing systems that will expand our market share. We're also launching subscription sensors that are designed to figure out when to deliver light to the crop. And further, a little further out, we're also investing in the intersection of imaging technologies and lighting. We're doing that by building out platform support for third-party cameras, as well as articulating a vision for hyperspectral imaging in this space. So cameras are important because that skilled labor that I talked about spends roughly a quarter of its time just walking facilities, identifying issues with the crops. And imaging technology has the potential to turn what's typically qualitative observations into quantifiable metrics. So this is really well known among this crowd. But next, to really push barriers in this industry, we have to increase spectral resolution so that we can identify the specific wavelengths that are relevant to horticultural outcomes rather than human vision. There's a number of multispectral sensing technologies that are used currently in field agriculture. Not going to get too much into the details, but there's a number of limitations with the cameras that are on the market today. So we are articulating a vision for improved and cost reduction in hyperspectral imaging. We're using proprietary hyperspectral optics and a simple monochrome camera. We're going to start with 12 bands that are specific to a number of horticultural sensing techniques listed on the screen here. I can speak with them in detail if you have any questions on that. But the technology we're using will scale easily to 40 bands. We believe we're going to win in this space because we are currently gaining platform momentum with products that customers are buying today. And we believe that there's probably another 2 or 3 years before they're ready to start spending money on imaging services. We're building a trusted brand in this space, and we're expanding the number of megawatts of loads in our platform. And we can act on those loads with our platform. We're also building integrations with the major systems out there, and we've been patenting this technology since 2016. I have the privilege of working with an outstanding team with incredible domain expertise in this area. We're closing a round right now. We're looking for Series A investors for our next round, and I'd be happy to take questions.
All right, well done. As you all can see, every competitor is virtually different sector visual tech across our whole society. Gillian.
You mentioned that I think you said something like the crops are growing 15% faster.
Yes.
I'm sort of missing a little bit why. Is it the light itself, or is it the domain knowledge in horticulture?
Yeah, so we're one of the few providers of tunable horticultural lighting. And what we're doing there is we're taking techniques that are very well published in literature and applying them to our platform, which enables tunable lighting. Not just with our products, but also other manufacturers' lights.
If I play it back, other manufacturers' lights go on, go off. Yours go to different shades. Is that what you're saying?
Precisely, yes. So what we're able to do is we're able to manipulate the metabolic process of photosynthesis with tunable lighting. Cannabis is a short-day flowering plant, so we're also able to manipulate the flowering cycle. So taken together, we're stringing multiple tunable strategies together to grow cannabis faster in particular.
Anybody else? You can ask, Dawn. What's the question? Is anybody else doing that?
No one is developing tunable horticultural lighting with outcomes in mind. Most of the companies that are doing anything in tunable lighting, they don't have very scalable systems, and they like to say, we have the optimal spectrum for this crop. Well, that optimal spectrum, first of all, there's no optimal spectrum because you're growing indoors. It's suboptimal by definition. So what we do is we orient all of our tunable strategies around the customer's needs. So whether it's increasing yield, growing the exact same way every single time, or growing the crop faster, lower energy, et cetera. It's all outcome dependent tunability.
Sujatha?
So I'm curious about both your funnel and the 1.3 million that you say you're booking. Mm-hmm. Is that from a particular buyer, or is a grower, I should say, or is it a particular state? What is the dynamic of how these sales are going?
Sure. So that customer is a licensed cannabis grower in Washington State. It is one head of cultivation that manages 3 facilities. And any other?
Well, you said you have is that your entire funnel, or are your other?
Oh yeah. So we have out of that sales pipeline, we have roughly a total of $16 million sales pipeline. 10 million of that pipeline is currently testing our product. We're expanding our pilot program because we're finding that our sales process and our piloting process is working. Sales cycles can be long. In cannabis, it's roughly 9 months to make a decision on a lighting system. In greenhouse agriculture, it could be years. So the network effect and platform strategy is critically important for this market.
All right, any other questions? Fantastic, thank you very much. Well done, Eric. Okay, they might still be working on the numbers. Hang on a second. Anybody who's done with the numbers, they might not be ready, Abby. So everybody's been extremely patient and passionate here. And give us a couple more minutes as Abby and the team gather the data from the judges.
All right, so we're just going to announce the winners for the competitions. First off, we want to say thank you, judges, for taking the time and sharing your insights. Thank you, competitors, for working so hard with the competition. And I want to especially thank the sponsors of our competition, Google Cloud for Startups, along with Latham Watkins, Hubspot, and Brex, the credit card for startups. So in third place, we have VPG Medical.
Yay! Well done, VPG.
In second place, we've got Cool R.
All right.
You want me to?
Oh, yeah. I'm like...
And I just want to say thank you to the judges, thank you to LDV, thank you to all the startups. You did an awesome job. This is the perfect place for you to be. I've gotten to know a lot of you over the last year and before that, and met a lot of you this week. You did an awesome job. And the winner for today is Sina from Shapes AI.
Yay, Shapes AI. Well done. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Why don't we put you right in the middle, Robert? Where are you? There you are.